start with the today's topic, which is basic of entrepreneurship, startup, and the role of teachers to nurture idea generation, nurture out of box thinking, and how to handhold the students in the entire process. So I think we can start now.
Yeah, so let's so we'll try to
just
give you yes. So we'll be very quick session because we have to invite a lot of experts and we wanted to keep this as much learning and also as much live and kind of non lecture based, where we'll be looking to have more real-time sharing with you, learnings with you. But before that, yes, we need to share a little bit about the basics of the entrepreneurship. You all might not be knowing and maybe knowing it, but let's recap it quickly. So entrepreneurship is a very big umbrella. A lot of time we have heard and find that people are understood entrepreneurship in a very small canvas, which is just connecting it to a startup, which is not true. So entrepreneurship refers to any individual who has an idea and idea extend to make an idea happen. It could be related to an commercial venture, but not necessary, and it could also be related to just solving a problem innovatively. Definitely, you know all these great faces and entrepreneurs of India, so you can directly link with them, and they have been doing a lot of other great things in their entrepreneurial journey. The second term, which is part of entrepreneurship, is intrapreneurship, which is again very much linked to students, because students most of the time think when somebody is asking them to learn and go into training of entrepreneurship, that you are pushing them to leave studies, leave their career and become a startup founder or something, but that's not the truth. Intrapreneur is again coming a person with an entrepreneurial mindset, but yes, he's not taken up his own venture, rather he's working with an organization on some certain designation, but because of his having an entrepreneurial mindset, he behaves like an entrepreneur in that organization and he brings new innovation, problem solving ideas to that organization and take them further. The few of the good examples you see in the big organizations which have been startup initially, like Facebook and Google and all, they have their entrepreneurship projects where they ask any individual or team to bring innovative solutions, and against them they have been supported by all the resources required. Also, they have been awarded by different means, either by remuneration of shares, equity, or giving them bonuses and all. So the entrepreneurship application is very wide. And one of the good example outcome was Facebook like button, which was done by the same kind of team. Gmail was developed by same kind of team, not by the main core team, which were supposed to bring innovation. Happy Meal in McDonald's brought by an entrepreneur like that. Add to basket button, buy now with a click. So these are all people who are entrepreneurs but working in an organization. So that is a difference you should always look forward to tell and share with the student. Again, what is startup? It could be very ambiguous to tell the one set example or definition of entrepreneurship or intrapreneurship or startup, but we try to give you something which is more established in technical terms. The one which is very generic, coming from one of the entrepreneur himself. The term says a startup is a temporary organization designed to look for a business model that is repeatable and scalable. So let's break it in three parts. Temporary organization, why they are saying temporary? It's talking about a business model which should be repeatable and scalable. So this is one of the best definition I believe is, because it's saying temporary organization. Now you cannot say Facebook or Dell and Apple and all those organizations a startup, because that has gone, that phase has gone. So within standard 3 years, any new organization which is called startup should be able to find a business standard working business model, which should have repeatable clients, repeatable business, repeatable markets. So it should keep repeating, then only keep revenue is coming and sustainability brings. Second is whatever solutions they are bringing, innovative solution, it could be scalable. Scale means that its application should be in very high demand. Example, if you bring a solution for COVID, any COVID vaccine or mask or whatever, definitely it is scalable because everyone is looking for that. So that is the meaning of scalable. So that's a very standard definition. But when you go to definition of our government Startup India, it says it in very technical terms, which is also related to other departments which they handle from taxation and all. So they define it any organization which is less than 10 years and which has annual turnover less than 100 crore. So that's a basic definition for Startup India. Because when your student will be registering, they should know this. So that's for the startup. Now we come on the basics of entrepreneurial mindset. What are the two key elements that an entrepreneurial mindset a student should have? One is Atmanirbhar and Atmaprerit. Atmanirbhar is one has to be dependent on himself rather on others, because the journey is very challenging and that they have to take the vision and mission on their own shoulders, its failure and success. For that, they should have growth mindset. They should have innovative approach. They should have been opportunity seeker. They look opportunity in every problem. They should be resilient, that they should not stop whenever they face any problem. They should keep moving. They should have empathy to understand the market, the customer, the problem. They should always be resourceful, because you will never have 100% support in any terms in finance, funding, or your team. So you have to be, smart enough to be arranging those resources. Second part is Atmaprerit, which is keep motivating yourself. So you have to be proactive, definitely. So in your school, you can see who are the students who are proactive. So that is one key element they already have, which is linked from their entrepreneurial mindset. They are self-starter. They're focusing on solution, not on problem. You see a lot of students who come with solution rather a problem. But yes, in general, we always come with a problem thinking a teacher or a principal should solve it. But we have to turn around that mindset that a student can and should solve their problem. Experimental initiative, they should not fear by experimenting. And then they should create a value for that solution that somebody is ready to pay and use it. And they should have ownership for that vision and mission. And everything should be task-based rather hourly based, that I work 6 hours, 8 hours. No, you have to reach that goal, what you have set your milestone, which could take 1 hour, 2 hours, or 10 days, doesn't matter. So then you come out of why we have to nurture entrepreneurship among students. A lot of teachers, when we were interacting, they were saying they have different, view that should entrepreneurship be taught from 6th class onward, or 2nd class, or 8th class, or only 9th, 10th, or 11th, 12th. We still have so many ambiguity, and it comes because of so many reasons, exams and so many other things. So let's understand that why among our students. The first and the biggest challenge which is at present is that all of the present education system has been teaching them that you have to tomorrow take good grades, certificates, degree, and find a job. We have to change that, and we have to nurture job creators rather job seekers. That is a very, very critical thing, which from government to every organization and individually you must be also feeling it. And second, yes, there are not much jobs left now, so we need people, young people who can create jobs. That is one very critical reason why we should nurture entrepreneurship. Second, because it takes time. You can't nurture it overnight. You can't ask somebody to just do an IIT degree or ITI or MBA or whatever, and then suddenly ask him to become an entrepreneur. You have to nurture them. Second is to nurture a problem-solving, innovative mindset. That is very core of any entrepreneur. If you are not thinking to solve a problem, then you are not an entrepreneur, and solving a problem in a very unique way. That's the second part. Again, that takes time, take a lot of experimentation and things. Then third is, we are one of the youngest nation in the world. So how to harness and channelize the energy of the student, how to help them to create wealth, not just for them, but for our nation, for the society, make our nation an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So those are the very, very key challenges and the reason why we should go nurture entrepreneurship. And definitely, um, as early as you catch them, it's very easy to nurture them. The more later you try to do that, it's becoming very challenging. And definitely, it's a culture building process which takes its own time. Then the challenge in nurturing entrepreneurship. One is the visioning about, and yeah, you passionate about nurturing entrepreneurship, as we are, you and us both side are, but there are a lot of challenges. How to overcome that challenges is, I think, the critical point we will try to discuss with you, and our expert will also share that what challenges come and how you will able to come out of them. Quickly, I'll take through because everyone knows bringing mindset change is long-term process. There are a lot of social barrier pressures, play safe, take a degree, do a job, and all those things. There are a lot of wrong perception about entrepreneurship because everyone connected with startup and business. Most of us, we think that you don't belong to business family and all those things. So that these are the major challenges, and the mindset change itself take time. So that we need to cater. And then role of a teacher, how critical it is, and what is the role of a teacher. That is, I will do this. I think the entire thing will be recapped in this very, very simple quote. Everyone knows, giving a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him fishing, you feed him for lifetime. That's okay. That was an old time. But now when we are talking about entrepreneurship, the things are changing, times are changing. We have to work for a larger good of the society where a lot more number of people are there. So now the addition is that it's time to give them fishing net. It's time to give them tools and kits and equipments so they can scale up the entire mission vision, in spite of it is a commercial or non-commercial. Even if you are opening a social startup, the impact has to be very big, and you need to have those tool techniques to get into that. So give them fishing nets. That's the entire endeavor you should look for, that how you can give them some tool techniques which they can implement and apply in their life. Presenting entrepreneurship as a life skill. I think that a mindset a little bit you have to change, that when we go and start presenting, introducing entrepreneurship, never connected earlier with startup. Connected with a life skill, because definitely it's a life skill. It will be helpful in every role you play as a mother, father, as an IAS, as a corporate or a politician. Every part of your life, you will have these life skill, entrepreneurial skill, 21st century skills. So promote them, because then they feel that it is worth for me. Otherwise, when you start with startup, they just taking a step back. Identifying entrepreneurial mindset that you should always look for in your school. You'll find a lot of students, and then they can become the role model. Nurturing innovation and out of box thinking. You must be already doing in a lot of way, but you have to think more in a way where they can go to market with those innovations and get them registered at patent and copyrights and all those things. Nurturing problem solving skills. They should have always an app that they look forward to solve any problem and not run around or think that problem should be solved by somebody else, not me. Finally, motivating your students and putting them on a path. Everybody, as I said, cannot be an entrepreneur, but by birth he's an entrepreneur. He might be fit more better as an entrepreneur. That's a different story. That path you have to set. Example, if somebody who is not risk taker, who is not able to make his own visions, maybe it's better to be an entrepreneur, but he will do very good in his career as an entrepreneur. Just he won't have his own organization. That's a different thing. So that's how you motivate and put the setting their path. Way forward, definitely you have to yourself lead from example, that you should start innovating the way you are teaching. So you can't have the same wine and the same old bottle. So at least change the wine or the bottle, because that's how students will get excited. And we'll tell you a story after this, how we did it, how we started that motivation and innovation to teach entrepreneurship. To nurture entrepreneurship, become an entrepreneur. Within your school, you have to do a role of an entrepreneur, because you have to do a lot of resource building. You will be having so much challenges with students, with your organization, within, for resources and all of the things. So you have to be an entrepreneur, how to start implementing these things. Be a facilitator, not a teacher. Very, very crucial. We make a lot of mistake by becoming a teacher by nature, who is always telling a judgmental right and wrong thing. Whereas in entrepreneurship, there is no right and wrong. There is no math equation plus and one is two. So everybody can be right, everybody can be wrong. You have to just give them, that space that they can experiment. So be a facilitator, where you facilitate openly to help them to experiment and give them that motivation that everything is okay. There could be some failure and some successes. Use tools, technique, gamification to excite, rather giving them a class or lecture or books and all those things. So these are the way forward. Now I'll request Ma'am Professor Lakshmi Devi, who is one of the expert for the day. She is an alumni of Miranda House, founder principal of Shahid Rajguru College of Applied Science, and she has done a great job in introducing and implementing entrepreneurship in her previous college. She is honorary director of Center of Entrepreneurship with the University of Delhi. She has established multiple EDP cells in colleges, and she is very, very passionate. She has been guiding us also how to promote and implement entrepreneurship. So over to you, ma'am. We'll be moderating this session. We'd like you to share quickly a brief about you and how you like to take this topic ahead, and maybe also include the importance and relevance of today's topic, journal entrepreneurship, for teachers and relevance it for the students. So welcome, ma'am. Over to you. Ma'am, you are mute. I think you have to unmute.
Thank you, Vijayji, for inviting me for this. And I'm very excited about the gaming which you have introduced in entrepreneurship. And I look forward to the training of the teachers. I'm sure the students and teachers will enjoy it, because I've seen it, how the students and teachers have taken. Well, I'll start with the topic. You see, I was basically a teacher, and I was teaching botany in one of the colleges of Delhi University. Suddenly they said, ma'am, why don't you start a college called College of Applied Sciences for Women? I did not know what was applied science. Okay, I can understand that these are applicable to the, society. So I started, okay. I went as an officer on special duty in 1989 to the college. And can you imagine, I was given 12 rooms, 12 to 13 rooms in a college which was already running in a school building. And now I had to start, and they gave me 4 courses: electronics, instrumentation, food technology, computers, not computer science, early child care and development. Well, when I started, it was the month of November. And students, can you imagine, when I put up this notice that you will be given training in the industry, many students came and joined. They left other colleges and joined us, because there is a big problem in the college education system. There's no link between industry and academia. So if any students wants to go for a job, they are unable to go for a job because there's a huge gap. Now, applied science was trying to bridge up this gap between pure science and technology, and they brought applied science, and we were supposed to give training in the industry for all the girl students. Mind you, it's a girls' college. So I had to take up it as a challenge. Okay, how to start it and what to do. Okay, we got, for the 3 courses, electronics, instrumentation, and food technology, students came and joined our college. And only 12 rooms. I had to make so many labs, from where to get the rooms, where to get the space. And another college, College of Business Studies, is running alongside. So I converted all the corridors into laboratories and lecture theaters. And when people came to see our college from various parts of India, they said, oh, you're principal of corridors. Now, the interesting thing was that, the students were also excited, and we, alongside with the students coming in, we furnished our college fully. And Now the students had to be given training. But before that, I found the syllabus was not adequate at all. So I represented to the university that the syllabus should be completely changed. It should be relevant. They should know more about electronics, more about food technology, and more about instrumentation. Nobody understands what is instrumentation. Nobody understands what is food technology. At least electronics, they used to understand a little bit, but not these two. Then I had to explain to parents and students how food technology is different from home science. It is in a larger scale. It is food processing in an industry, and you eat the morning breakfast and you get the bread and all these things. They are all produced in the industry. And this is what you are supposed to give: healthy food and safe food to people. So this is done in industry. So like that instrumentation, I also wanted to explain. Many people came and asked me, oh, instrumentation, is it musical instruments? I said, no. These are instruments which are used in the industry. Imagine in 1989, people asking me such questions. Now I explained to them and we started. Now we had to have a lot of input of money, but I had no money at that time in my hand because government had not given me even a single pie. So I had to get things. So I had to think what to do. How did I manage? The other college which was there, they had bought something. On the basis of their quotation, I also bought. But it was all on credit. Set up the college and started with the classes and slowly started furnishing the college. And every room, the students moved with their chairs and tables to various rooms and formed the laboratories. But in any case, now, the second year, the girl students, and third year, they have to go for training. Now, the industry say, oh, they are not BTech students, they are not engineers. Why do you want them to get trained? I had to explain to them. And then I had to tell them, okay. And they wanted, okay, see the industry for 2 months. I said, no, they have to do hands-on. They have to learn the skills. So they were put inside the industry. They learned the skills. And initially 6 industries, but today more than 200 industries are training the girls. That is the interesting part. And they have come out with many novel products, like they have come with cheese bread, masala bread, which has been commercialized by various companies. Now I come to the fact that, today they are occupying senior positions in industries. And how we developed their, inquisitive mind and out-of-box thinking. We used to have, out-of-box thinking. We used to have competition. Can you make things from waste? Oh, they came out with various products, interesting things. You throw the CDs away. CD, they put a motor below and a, small toy on top, and it was moving around. It was a beautiful toy which could be sold. What an innovation. Similarly, from the batteries, they removed the things and made a water heater. Many things came out from their mind. All children are so innovative. And we have to only capture their talent. As teachers, we have to find out how to capture their talent. In third year, they had to do a project. The food technology students made, different new products. I'll give you an example. From pomegranate peels, anarka peels, which we throw off, they took out the color. Otherwise, the synthetic colors are very, they are cancer producing. Now, these are natural colors. So they made that. They made breadcrumb biscuits. Now, when they made breadcrumb biscuits, some, industrial, the companies, they started asking me, could you give me the technology? I said, no, I'm a businesswoman. I will sell the technology, but I will not give you free. Because there were giants who wanted to do the business with us. So then the students of instrumentation made pacemakers, and they also saw the operation. So we have to think how to impart knowledge so that they really understand what is happening. And the electronic students made electronic toys. So the food technology students even made mushroom ketchup. In fact, Sri Lankan ambassador called us to his residence. They were having some fete, and they gave us a table where we could exhibit all our products. And this is how, you have to think, make the students think out of the box, not the general things. And industries were also very happy. And therefore, we have to see how to catch the student's mind. Every student has some talent or the other in there. And we have to see how we can nurture that talent and bring it up so that they can start their own enterprise. Now, another thing which I would like to give, many of my students have become entrepreneurs too. What happened was the Center for Entrepreneurship and Career-Oriented Program, Delhi University, they had a discussion and this was set up under me. I was the honorary director and in the college itself. So I did small programs for the university students so that the gap between industry and the academia could be abolished. And what we did, library automation. Can you imagine, one of the students has used a Koha software and today he is automating the libraries of various schools and colleges. So he has become an entrepreneur. So this is how we have to nurture the talent. Another example I'll give you, one of the students who did food technology joined Confederation of Indian Industry. But she thought, she would become an entrepreneur. And what did she do? She started a company called Fruit Concepts. See, she made fruit bouquets. Have you heard of fruit bouquets? We have heard of flower bouquets. Now she makes fruit bouquets which are sold for 2,000 or more above that level, that 2,000 or 2,500, and that will be put in the particular function, and later they can eat the fruits also. They also don't go waste, and whatever fruits they cut, if they can make some juice, that can also be sold. So this is how the innovation started. So she got the food concept. Another girl, Yogita, she started a bakery because we conducted some bakery programs under Center for Entrepreneurship. Then there was another girl. We also did chocolate making in the college. We called some people who make chocolates. So this girl, Akriti, has already started a company called Bugachi, and she sells it online on Amazon. And she's doing very well. Now you will ask, what did she do? And each time, you have to keep innovating. It's not that you are static and that's all. You have to keep innovating. So when COVID came, what did she do? She started putting haldi, turmeric in her chocolates, which is an immunity booster. So, you have to keep innovating. You can't be static. You have to keep growing. Another girl, she started her advertising company, Monica Gupta, called Interactive Beats. She did instrumentation. She did MBA, but she was an entrepreneur in the company and she was a leader. But her milestones were not met. So what did she do? She started her own advertising company. Today, 60 people are employed under her. Here I must say, one should see that in her company, each employee, 60 of them are Monica Guptas. So you can't have, the team, and the team has to grow with you. They should become you. You are doing the job. They should represent you fully. And it should be a complete team, and team has to be complementary. Wherever we have, some weakness, we have to see that weakness is fulfilled by some other person in the team. Then another girl, Manisha Mahatta, she has become a dietitian she has started a company called NutriBoss. And now she is doing sports and clinical nutrition. Then we have Nidhi, who started Waka Waka Cafe. And these are the things which many students have done. And one girl has started a bakery. Now here I would like to say, what are the challenges which come up? In college itself, I had a lot of challenges. 12 rooms, made it into 16 rooms. Still, I don't have a students' common room and, staff room. What do? How do I overcome the challenge? And what I did was to overcome the challenge. One day there was rain, water flowed into the physics department and the electronics department. I said, if you allow me to cover the open space, that is, there was a open space on the top floor, and I can make a staff room and students' common room. Otherwise, if anybody gets electrocuted, it will be a problem. So they allowed me to cover. I got the rooms. So you have to be innovative all the time. You have to keep, there will be challenges. You have to resolve challenges. Many challenges came because you see, after all, when we had this entrepreneurship course also, how many became entrepreneur? If there are thousands of students, only 10 or 15 have become entrepreneur. Why not? Because there has to be a mindset change. Once there is a mindset change, they understand, okay, this can work. and I can resolve challenges. I'll give an example here of a person by name Mustafa who has started an enterprise called ID Fresh Foods. He has come from a very low background. And today he is speaking in the Harvard Kennedy School. I was just reading. And you know what he says? He has kept up all the value systems. He has not broken the value system and the ethics. Second, he says, they don't take the shortcuts. Have trust in your clientele. And he did a marketing which was very interesting. How did he do it? You see, he makes batters of dosha, idli, and vadas. What he did was he kept a chiller in group housing societies with nobody looking after it, trusted his customers, and kept a money box where they would take the batter and put the money in the box. Trusted them, and they trusted him. And, you know, he got a very good market from there. He understood people liked it, and they had a trust on his because he never adds pesticides or any chemicals in it. We want fresh food. He is doing that job for others. I think these are the things which we have to understand and resolve challenges alongside.
Thank you
Any
so much,
questions?
ma'am. Thank you. Any questions you can put in chat? I think it was very, very valuable hearing ma'am's real-time experience, how she overcame so many challenges like 30, 40 years back. Now we have so many resources, even all of you. Any questions? Otherwise, everyone is appreciating you, ma'am, in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for that. Okay. Thank you. So thank you once again, ma'am. We will overtake to the next expert. Over to you, Ritu.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always very, very inspiring to
Thank
know
you.
where you and I know everyone is charged up now. Everyone is motivating, and your energy that's like contagious. We are all charged up
Thank you so
after
much.
this. I think.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And please keep coming and guiding us. Now over to our next expert speaker, Ms. Ashima Agrawal. She is the nominated Innovation Ambassador Expert by IIC MOE, Masters in Mathematics, Educationist turned entrepreneur, you can say now. She has a lot of certifications in entrepreneurship from Botron, Science of Wellbeing, Everyday Parenting from Yale Online, and she's the founder of the Great Hat Learning. So actually, she was the teacher in the DPS Delhi. And now she's an entrepreneur. So obviously that's an awesome journey, and she can share, whatever challenges she has faced when she was doing, trying to do any innovation or trying to do something new in her teaching career, and now what she's facing. So Ashima ma'am, are you there? Can you?
Yes, I am there. I am there, Ritu.
More about, today's topic and
Sure.
how the teachers can learn and what is the relevance for the students about this entrepreneurship mindset, basically development. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good evening, everyone. I can see a lot of teachers and principals, attendees amongst our audience, and it's amazing to share the same space with you all. Having spent 30 years amongst teachers, amongst colleagues in the teaching fraternity, I do still consider myself as a teacher. And I think nobody can understand more than us as teachers, the importance for teachers to be of an entrepreneurial mindset ourselves. There hasn't been a much change in our classroom situation over the last 200 years. We still see the same classroom situation which we saw in the 1800s. If I could share a picture with you, which I will at some point in time, the classroom situation still is where the students are sitting on a bench and a chair and the teacher is standing against the board. Despite the last 1 year where the pandemic has changed our teaching scenario, where I think we as teachers have changed ourselves, we have upskilled ourselves, we have reskilled ourselves to come up to the challenges to meet up the challenges for the students. There has been a shift in the learning process also. The pandemic has changed us so swiftly, and the teachers now have to be lifelong learners. I think I understood this when I did become an entrepreneur myself, and thanks to Kuvar and Ritu for bringing me into the field. I think I must be honest enough in telling you this, that entrepreneurship was as far away from me as anything else could be. Coming in contact with Lakshmi ma'am, and you will get to hear some other experts with whom I've been interacting over the last 1 year. It's been an amazing journey to be of an entrepreneurial mindset. Why is it important for us to teach us as teachers to be of an entrepreneurial mindset? We are so content driven all the time because we are bound within the boundaries of a syllabus, a curriculum, and the curriculum does not really allow us to move away from its boundaries. There is an exam coming up, so I have to complete this syllabus by then. I have to revise this with the children so that they are able to score marks, which leads me to another scenario: marks and grades. Teachers, I think the change has to begin with you. We have to start talking in terms of preparing our students to be of a growth mindset. And that is where a lot of other stakeholders will come into the picture, which is parents and students themselves. Why is it that we are so bothered about such high cutoffs? We have to come out of this scenario. We have to bring our children to a level where we stop thinking about marks and grades. And that is where we as teachers have to play a big role. Teaching is not going to be about pedagogy anymore. Teaching has to be about leadership, about entrepreneurship. So how do we bring them out of the subject content? Every child is a dreamer. वो जब बच्चा होता है तो वो देखता है, he or she looks out at the sky कि why is the sky blue? Why are the butterflies flying around? Why are the leaves only green? Why can't they have any other color? These are the kind of questions the child asks, which is his curiosity. And if that curiosity is not allowed to flower, then the child is not being developed with an entrepreneurial mindset. Absolutely, there has to be a lot of experiential learning, and that is what is going to develop a growth mindset amongst our children. So before we take that growth mindset to the children, we have to have that growth mindset in ourselves. We want our children to grow with an innovative mind. Only when they dream will they be able to discover. Only then they will be able to grow up with a problem-solving attitude, a problem-solving mindset. And that is when we are going to see a change, a shift in our society. The last 2 days, I hope I can share that, Kubar, because last 2 days I have been attending a colloquium where a lot of teachers, parents, and students have been attending a seminar on the 21st century skills that the school should have. And it was scary to see the result of a poll that was conducted during the session. There were 40% teachers who wanted to hang on to the content. Out of the 1,000 people who were surveyed, 73 to 74% were teachers. Maybe I was one of them also who, pressed that button there. 40% of us teachers want to hang on to the content because we do not want to come out of our comfort zones. Bringing a change in the students' mindset will need us to come out of the comfort zone. There are 70% teachers who do not want our learning to be gamified. That is my experience, that teachers do not want gamified version. We do not want virtual learning. Why is it that we are against virtual learning? It is because we are so imbibed in our own classroom situations that we find it difficult to come out of it. we need to use certain tips and techniques for it. Let the children be curious. I think Kuvar spoke about the 4 C's. I'm sure he'll be talking to you about them at a later time sometime. But you need to develop the curiosity of the children. You need to have them to collaborate, make groups where they can talk to each other. Individual learning and then learning in a group is what is going to lead them to experiential and entrepreneurial mindset. Give them chance to explore things on their own individually, and then go ask questions amongst a group. And then maybe you play a role of a facilitator. When I talk of a facilitator, it becomes easier for the students to come and ask me questions and deliver an answer to that, and look out for answers themselves. Then we also need to teach them to communicate, which is a very, very important skill for our children. Communication with anybody and everybody. We have to prepare them to go outside into the world. Be a citizen of the world. Any forum, they should be able to go and talk and chat and interact. It's very important for them to learn to communicate, to be communicative. Develop their critical thinking skills. How do we do that? Let them ask that why during your lessons. Let them ask why. Put them into groups. Within their groups, let them sort out and let them find out their own answers before you give them those answers. I know there are going to be challenges because we are again bound by certain timelines. We have to do a lot of other work besides teaching. So that's okay. Be the change that you want to see in your children. Also, do we have the ability to kind of continuously reinvent ourselves? We have to ask that ourselves. I do not really know that there is an ability for continuous reinvention amongst ourselves, right? Amongst us, each other. So how do we pass it on to the children? If I am not ready to take risks in life, then how do I prepare my children to take risks? How do I prepare my students to take risks? Another big thing I think we have seen is the scare of that failure. Agar mujhe aadha number kam milega, so I am going to fail. What am I going to do amongst my peers? It is going to affect my status in the classroom or amongst my other peers. Even at times, I would even go to the extent of saying that even parents feel that if my child does not score that much, this is how I'm going to find it difficult to meet my friends. These are the challenges which we face. So we have to come out of that fear of failure ourselves. I think we are also filling up the forms. How many students of mine scored above 90%? How many students of mine stayed within the bracket of 80 to 90%? Let us just forget those. Let us treat that as a small little challenge. Because if I keep looking at that myself, I will not be able to prepare my own students to face the challenges of tomorrow. So what is it that I'm doing? I have to be a learner myself. I have to upskill and reskill myself. Develop or put your students into various small groups. Lakshmi ma'am talked about small little things. I think we all have create your own based forums in our schools through the socially useful productive work that CBSE supplied to us. I mean, it's a part of our school curriculum. And it was amazing to see. I mean, Dr. Lakshmi is talking about her experience in the college. I will talk about my experience within my school, DPS Arkipuram in New Delhi. A lot of children prepared little things. They prepared lamps from newspapers, from thrown out bulbs. They would prepare things like decorative pieces from that little waste, and we created a small portal for them where they could publish their things. And they actually, some of them, one or two, were entrepreneurial enough to develop it into something more and go out and figure it out themselves and sell it and come back to us and say that we earned that little bit out of that little thing that they created. Then we had this Interact Club where these children prepared these cakes and pastries. We would have those small little diyas during Diwali time. They will sit and paint those diyas themselves. And we would have a stall within the school where the teachers were allowed to come and buy those diyas. Though the students could come and buy those diyas for little sum, and that money would go into charity. These are little things where you can help children develop their own entrepreneurial skills. So we have to change and create situations where we are able to manage the gap in our own mindset. You teachers, it's a sincere request. All of us have to come out of it and close the gap in our mindset. You need to ask yourself, what are the competencies that are needed in 21st century students who are coming to take up the jobs? We need to create job seekers. We do not want to create job seekers. We need to create job providers. So if we have to prepare job providers, yes, we have to have job providers now. With all the job scenario being seen so bad, we have at least 3.6 crore students coming out of higher education institutes looking for jobs. And the GPA is not going to matter anymore. The gap between a shift has to take place from the GPA to your experience in the field. And that will come only when we are able to prepare our children with an entrepreneurial mindset. So develop that critical problem-solving mindset in your children. And last, create happy children. How do we create happy children? Bring happiness to yourself. Bring happiness in your own life. Bring happiness to your own setup within the classroom. Yes, it is very well said, Mr. Raghuvanshi. It's difficult to convince parents. But I think I would go around and say that we will have to start talking to parents, build things, since they are the stakeholders. We have to bring them into the ambit of our change. It's going to be a slow process, but eventually we will see a change happening in their mindset as well. So talk a lot. We need to talk a lot to our parents as well. Start doing that. Start bringing in that little change, and we will. This is going to be a beginning, and let us promise to bring in this change ourselves. Let us promise teachers to not remain within the confines of the content-driven curriculum, please. And I think this person whom I was interacting with yesterday spoke about, ma'am, please go and have a look at Quota Factory, where we are just producing engineers by thousands. We don't want that, ma'am. We don't want teachers. We don't want to produce only a particular section of students going into with a particular set mindset. We want people, we want a whole generation which can provide jobs to the job seekers, change the society, and create happiness amongst yourselves and amongst your children. Let the change begin with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashima ma'am. It's so inspiring, and you are the example of lead by example. Because you are an entrepreneur now, you were a teacher, so you are a real risk taker, and you have that growth mindset. You are not saying, no, I'm doing my job, after a few years, I'll get retired and I'll do something. You have taken that challenge and you challenged yourself. And that's the example of actually the growth mindset versus fixed mindset. I'll just share a small story of my experience. I was in corporate job, and like everybody's talking, like Ashima ma'am, Lakshmi ma'am, about, mindset change and change in thought process about children. I'm giving my experience of, where the people who are, I was in real estate, I'm an architect, people who are the age of 50, 60, and they are so fixed in their mindset. I was working in a Japanese firm, and Japanese wanted to do things differently. they were asking question for everything. Why, if you're doing something from top to down, why not down to top? Why it's fixed? And people used to say, we are doing this for 20 years, we are doing this for 30 years, this is the right way. So I was thinking at that time that how difficult it is to change them, change these people at this age, and after they have the experience of 20, 30 years working in any sector, in any industry. And why innovation is not happening in that industry? I'm not saying like everyone, but I'm saying about a particular set of people. Why innovation is not possible when you are thinking that whatever I am doing since last 20, 30 years, that is the correct thing. There is no other way. I won't even listen. I'll do only argument. No. This is the way things should happen. So that's the example of growth mindset and the fixed mindset, where I'm ready. If somebody is saying me, you are doing something like this, is there any another way? Okay, let's discuss. Maybe there are another ways. But so if that mindset is nurtured from a very young age, obviously that's going to stay forever. But it's not possible to change at later stage. Few people obviously change that and do things differently, like Ashima ma'am and all those other people. But that's how the growth mindset versus fixed mindset, gives the result in the overall run of life. So now we'll welcome another our guest teacher, Miss Snehil Pandey. She is one of the youngest National President Award winner teacher in the year of 2020. And she is headmistress in Government English Medium Primary School, now Uttar Pradesh. She is also the part of advisory steering committee in the NEP 2020, and also she has got award at UP state level, School Excellence Award in January 2020. So Snehil, welcome, and we would like to hear your experience. What was your initiative, what you actually tried to do differently, which that people were not doing, or what was your innovation? Snehil, you can share, I think, if you are there.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you, team Skill Rich. I am feeling very privileged and honored to be here to share forum with all of you. Thank you for giving me the chance. And time is really, किसी का मैसेज अभी आया है कि टाइम मार्क करे, तो मेरे को तो जस्ट अभी चांस मिला है. बट आई वाज लिसनिंग अटेंटिवली टू बोथ मैम. बहुत अच्छा शेयर किया मैम लोगों ने, बहुत ही इंसाइटफुल था. इट वाज quite refreshing and some kind of innovative experience for me. एक्चुअली मैंने अपने यहाँ पहले तो मैं SIATP मॉड्यूल प्रोग्राम के बिगिनिंग के लिए भी आप लोगों को कांग्रेचुलेट करना चाहूंगी कि दिस इज सम काइंड ऑफ अमेजिंग, वेरी गुड कोऑर्डिनेशन एंड वेल एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रोग्राम जो आप लोगों ने मॉड्यूल स्टार्ट करा है. यंगेस्ट नेशनल अवार्डी हूँ और एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में एडवाइजर हूँ, तो वहां पर दोनों जगह मेरा एक ये इनिशिएटिव एडमायर किया गया थ्रू द ऑनलाइन प्रोसेस. जब हमने इन फ्रंट ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एजुकेशन ये शेयर किया कि हम अपने यहाँ के प्राइमरी सेक्शन के स्टूडेंट्स को लीडरशिप की क्वालिटीज सिखाने के लिए उन्हें एक दिन का क्लास देते हैं या एक दिन का एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हैंडल करने को देते हैं, तो दे वर रिएक्टिंग एस्टॉनिशिंग, कि छोटे छोटे बच्चे क्लास 1 to 5 के वो कैसे हैंडल करते होंगे चीजों को. तो दिस इज वेरी गुड इनोवेशन इन आवर स्कूल प्रेमाइसेस. बच्चे छोटे हैं, 1 or 2 के बच्चों को हम अगर छोड़ दें तो आफ्टर क्लास 3 वी हैड स्टार्टेड, बिकॉज माई प्रॉब्लम वाज अनइक्वल पीटीआर का मतलब आप समझ रहे होंगे. पीटीआर रेशियो हमारे यहाँ अनइक्वल था, पीपल टीचर रेशियो, बिकॉज we were the 3 teachers in campus and 276 students were there. So हमें we have to find out some way to maintain our classroom practices in very well and good manner, and our teaching practices also simultaneously. So I have taken this initiative. In the beginning, I named it Leading 30s. So I found some kind of leading kids, leading students from every class 1 to 5th. हमने 2-2, 5-5 का peer group छांटा और उन्हें जैसे पहले स्टार्टिंग में कोई काम दिया कि आप कोई प्लांटेशन करें या किसी टॉपिक पे ग्रुप डिस्कशन करें या किसी क्लास को डेकोरेट करें या असेंबली मेंटेन करें। जब उन्हें हमने छोटे छोटे टास्क दिए तो उन्हीं में हमने अपने कीन ऑब्जर्वेशन स्किल्स दिखाए और उसमें देखा कि कौन सा बच्चा है जो बहुत ज्यादा लीड कर पा रहा है। फिर हमने वहाँ पिकअप द बेस्ट किया वहां से जो करना पड़ा एट द नीड ऑफ द टाइम। तो हमने उन बच्चों का एक ग्रुप बनाया द लीडिंग 30s। तो लीडिंग 30s में हमारा ये रहता था, जो रूटीन था वो नॉर्मल क्लासरूम के बाद आफ्टर इंटरमिशन, आफ्टर लेजर टाइम, हम लीडिंग 30s को एक्स्ट्रा एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर स्किल्स से इम्बाइब करते थे। लाइक हाउ टू कैसे वॉलंटरीली आप किसी काम को करेंगे। लाइक हम कोई इलेक्शन करा रहे हैं स्कूल में तो वोटिंग कैसे करानी है, उसे कैसे मेंटेन करना है साइलेंटली। हमने एग्जाम्स कंडक्ट कराए विदाउट कॉपिंग, विदाउट टचिंग एनीथिंग, सिर्फ ट्रस्ट के बेस पे कि बच्चे एक दूसरे की चीटिंग नहीं करेंगे, नकल नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ क्लासरूम में जाएंगे, टेस्ट पेपर्स लेंगे, आराम से पेपर्स देंगे, पेपर वहां डिपॉजिट करेंगे और वापस आएंगे। तो दिस काइंड ऑफ रियली न्यू इनिशिएटिव बच्चों को बहुत थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर काइंड सपोर्ट। तो ये बच्चों को बहुत अच्छा लगा कि बच्चों ने ही लीड किया। तो जब ये चीजें होने लगी हमारे यहाँ तो फिर हमने उसको मैं भी बनूंगी शिक्षक, जैसा कि आप पीछे देख सकते होंगे, हाँ मैं बनूंगी शिक्षक, ये बच्ची ने लिखा हुआ है, मैंने इसको टॉट बाई टॉट का नाम दिया, दैट इज TOT। तो ये भी एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल्स को इनहांस करने वाला एक हमारा बिगिनिंग था। तो इसी पर मैं आऊंगी। और जैसा कि आपने पूछा कि उसमें क्या हार्डल्स आ रहे थे या क्या, तो नॉट एज सच ऐसा मेरे को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हुआ। प्रॉब्लम तो बस यही था कि हमारे यहाँ PTR अनइक्वल था, तो आई हैव टू फाउंड समथिंग न्यू। उसके बाद में हम बहुत डाउन ट्रोडन एरिया में काम कर रहे हैं, वेरी अंडर प्रिविलेज। अभी मैं दोनों मैम लोगों को सुन रही थी, तो एक इंग्लिश मीडियम कॉन्वेंट स्कूल या बहुत ही सजग अभिभावकों को बच्चों को थोड़ा सा प्रिविलेज मिल जाता है। हमारे यहाँ क्या है कि पंक्चर बनाने वालों के बच्चे आते हैं या रेहड़ी पे जो लैया चना चूरा बेच रहे होते हैं वो बच्चे आते हैं। तो हम चाह के भी उनके पास बहुत सारी ऐसी कोई हम चीजें नहीं उनको दिखा और सिखा सकते जो बियॉन्ड देयर लिमिट है, तो या बियॉन्ड देयर कैचिंग पावर है। हम लोग ICT का भी यूज करते हैं, तो इनसाइड स्कूल वाईफाई कैंपस भी है, तो सिर्फ इनसाइड स्कूल दे आर नॉट हैविंग स्मार्टफोन्स एंड दे आर नॉट एक्सेसिबल इंटरनेट एंड ऑल। तो हम इस बात को समझते हुए इस स्टेप पे आए कि गार्जियन को अपब्रिंगिंग के लिए एक कोलेटरल सोर्स की भी जरूरत होती है फॉर अर्निंग सम काइंड ऑफ। तो हम लोगों ने बच्चों को कुछ चीजें एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल के वजह से ही सिखाई कि आप लोग विदाउट फायर का यूज करते हुए स्नैक्स बनाइए। जैसे कि हम ब्रेड के अंदर जैम लगा दिया या ब्रेड के अंदर कुछ मूंगफली के दाने रखे, खीरा कट करके कुकुम्बर रख दिया या कोई फ्रूट्स रख दिया। तो बच्चे ये भी सीख रहे हैं साइमल्टेनियसली कि हो सकता है वो कभी अपनी एक शॉप ओन करें, हो सकता है वो कोई होम बिजनेस में सपोर्ट करें। तो मोस्टली यहाँ पे यही बिजनेस है, चाट का ठेला लगाना या कुछ भी। तो हम उसमें पढ़ाई को इन्वॉल्व कर रहे थे। आप मानेंगे कि हमारे यहाँ बहुत एस्टॉनिशिंग रिजल्ट ये आए, रिमार्केबल है कि बच्चे ने लाइब्रेरी स्टार्ट की है। जब हमारे यहाँ लॉकडाउन हुआ तो हमने बच्चों को कुछ बुक्स गिफ्ट की, तो बच्चे ने घर में ही किड्स लाइब्रेरी स्टार्ट की है। उसका नाम है अर्जुन और अनामिका, क्लास 5th स्टूडेंट्स हैं। तो दे आर ओनिंग देयर ओन लाइब्रेरी और उन्होंने मोबिलाइजेशन ऑफ द सोसाइटी को भी इंश्योर किया है। उसमें वो गार्जियंस को भी बुलाते हैं, सिबलिंग्स भी हैं, आसपास के लोग भी हैं, तो दे कम एंड गो गिव एंड टेक रिलेशन की बुक्स देते भी हैं, लेते भी हैं। तो ये एक अच्छा इनिशिएटिव था, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल का एक कमेंडेबल एग्जांपल था। छोटे बच्चे ने न्यूज़पेपर रखना शुरू किया, चाहे वो आउटडेटेड हो, ओल्ड हो, लेकिन इससे रीडिंग स्किल्स इनकलकेट हो रही है बच्चों में। और फिर हम लोगों ने इसको ऐसे लिया कि कौन बनेगा न्यूज़पेपर चैंपियन, कौन बनेगा मॉडल स्कूल चैंपियन, या कौन बनेगा फास्ट रीडर, कौन बनेगा वॉइस ओवर आर्टिस्ट। तो ये सारी चीजें हमने एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल्स में डाली। और वॉइस ओवर का मैंने जिक्र किया है, तो आई हैव डन माय वॉइस ओवर इन नेशनल, जो हमारा नेशनल का जो टीचर्स के लिए अवार्ड के लिए जो एक वॉइस ओवर मांगा गया था, उसमें मेरा नाम यूपी से सेलेक्ट हुआ था। तो स्टेप वाइज मैंने उसमें टीचर्स को गाइड किया है कि हाउ यू कैन फिल अप दिस फॉर्म। तो मैंने बच्चों को जब ये चीज शेयर की तो मैं अपना पॉडकास्ट भी कर रही थी, तो अब बच्चे भी अपनी आवाज रिकॉर्ड करते हैं स्कूल में इन वेकेंट टाइम। तो ये सारी चीजें मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं उस जगह पे जाके मर्ज हो रही है जहाँ पे हम उन्हें चाहते हैं कि वो लीड करें। और एक दीक्षा पोर्टल है, आपने सुना होगा, उसमें भी मेरा एक वीडियो है जिसमें मैं 3L पर बात करती हूँ। 3L से मतलब है कि क्लासरूम या स्कूल में हम करते हैं लीड। पहले तो जब हम लीड करेंगे फिर हम लव करेंगे, यानी कि हम अपने आसपास वालों से प्यार करेंगे, कि एक बॉन्डिंग शेयर करेंगे, कोवेलेंट बॉन्डिंग ऑफ रिलेशनशिप। फिर उसके बाद हम लर्न करेंगे। जब हम लीड करेंगे, लव करेंगे, लर्न करेंगे, तो 3L प्रोसेस भी मैंने अपने स्टूडेंट्स को बताया हुआ है। तो हमारे स्कूल को हैप्पीनेस पाठशाला का जो खिताब मिला है यूपी गवर्नमेंट से, उसको मैं कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कि प्रूव कर पा रही हूँ। हैप्पीनेस पाठशाला, जॉयफुल लर्निंग, ये हमारे कैंपस में आप देख सकते हैं। और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप स्किल्स के ही तहत हमारे बच्चों ने क्राफ्ट मेकिंग या सेल्फ लैब या सेल्फ कह सकते हैं ड्राइंग के लिए उन लोगों ने कुछ अपनी वर्कशॉप्स की हैं। उन्हें हमने लीड करने दिया, छोड़ दिया फ्री कि आप देखिए क्या क्या कर सकते हैं। तो अब तो वो यूट्यूब वीडियोस भी देख लेते हैं।
Yeah, I think some technical glitch, but it's very, very commendable to hear her initiatives and the way she's trusting the student and she's changing the entire scenario of a government-based school in a very, very small area.
And Kumar, I think that is about entrepreneurship. Like Snehal called us before this program that she doesn't have, the Wi-Fi in the area. There is some problem. So since morning, she's sitting in the school only for the Wi-Fi. And she was saying today there is some issue in the school also. But that's how when the resources, so much resources are not there, but still people are doing so many things, so many innovative thing, taking so many initiatives in spite of the resource crunch. So that's all about entrepreneurship, and she's the real example of that. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you for
sorry, we
coming.
could not hear her entirely. Thank you again, everyone. Quickly, we will recap and close the session. Starting from the basic of entrepreneurship. That entrepreneurship is an umbrella. Under that, there are so many outputs, starting from a startup to a social startup, a commercial venture, entrepreneur, where you can make your own career. A student can become an entrepreneur in an organization. Other than that is connecting with the life skill, 21st century skill, and entrepreneurship per se, which is applicable in every part of life, every role you play as a human being. So entrepreneurship has a very, very bigger ambit and a big umbrella, which must be taught, which nurtured in school from as early as possible. And we wish you all that you start this journey. Most of it you already started. The way you have heard all the eminent experts and teachers, and you also do those innovative, things in your school and nurture a nation which is Atmanirbhar, a nation of entrepreneurs, a very strong nation, Atmanirbhar Bharat, which will be ruling the world for good.